Oh, Olaf, you're my one true love. Nothing.
Science.
Ah. Okay, today we're going to learn about the different states of matter. And there are 3 states of matter. And the states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas. And to learn this, we're going to use some illustrations. We got to go to the whiteboard. Okay, let's say I had an ice cube. And I'm going to draw an ice cube just like this. Okay, that's our ice cube. Right now, it's in a solid state. If I were to try to push it with my hand, it would push back and it would feel solid. But let's say I put a fire under it. Whee! Bear with me. I might create a drawing fires. Let's say that's our fire, okay? And it starts melting the ice cube. No, this ice cube will start to melt and it will get smaller. And it'll turn to liquid. That's the water that's melted off. This is the water that's melted off. And then eventually, if it keeps going, it'll turn into just straight up a puddle. That's our ice cube now. It's dead. It's a puddle now. So it went from solid to a liquid. Now it's liquid. If you push it around, it's going to separate. It's going to go places and stuff like that. But if we kept this fire going under it, we kept the fire going under it, then eventually that puddle would shrink, would get smaller, because it would evaporate. The water would go into the sky. It would stop being a puddle and it would turn into a gas. This would be the gas form of the water. And eventually, it would all turn into this gas. And there would be no more water left. This signifies the... Now, what is actually happening, though, whenever you are doing this? Whenever the water is turning from a solid state to a liquid state to a gas state? Well, what's happening here is that, remember what we said is that matter is made out of atoms. We're going to pretend this is an atom. Atoms are the smallest things ever. And matter is whenever a bunch of atoms get together and they connect. Now imagine if this was a bunch of different water molecules, okay? This is one water molecule, this is another. They're all stuck together and they're rigid. This represents them inside of a solid state. They're stuck together, and if we push them, they're going to stay together, they're going to fly together. Anywhere they go, they're going to stick together. But whenever we heat them up a little bit, their bonds, these little lines, they kind of stop getting so sticky. And they start getting a little bit more loose. And they start to get a little bit further away. And the lines get a little bit more loose. They're not as tight anymore. And this keeps happening as we keep heating it up. Keeps getting more loose. The bonds get more loose. They drift a little bit more apart. And they drift a little bit more apart. Until once they become a gas state where the bonds pretty much are completely gone. And these water molecules are kind of just floating by themselves. So they're no longer stuck together like inside the solid state right here. And they're completely just loose. They're just free floating around. And that's what this gas state is. This gas state is whenever these atoms and these molecules, they start to kind of go separate. These molecules that make up this water, they kind of go separate. So yeah, so whenever it's a solid state, the molecules that make up the cube all stuck together. They got these really rigid connections that keep them together, just like this. And then wherever they go together. Whenever they get heat up and they turn into liquid, those bonds, those connections get kind of loose and they get all wiggly and spaghetti, like this. And they kind of start moving around by themselves. Sometimes they drag them because they still got connections, but it's not as much, it's not as strong. And whenever they turn into gas, these connections are pretty much gone. So you got these molecules floating around by themselves, just by themselves. And that's what gas is. So yes, solid states of matter. The states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas. And solids whenever the molecules are rigid and stuck together. Liquid is whenever they're more loose, so they're able to move around more freely. And gas is whenever the connections are pretty much gone and they're just moving around by themselves. Yes, solid states of matter. Stay at home, see what different types of materials are look like or behave at different types of states of matter, and see what cool things you observe. So yeah, stay in school.